It's better to be prepared and have no opportunity than not to be prepared and have an opportunity. And I believe that really applies in every one of our lives, that if we have an opportunity and we're not prepared, we're not going to capture
the Far East,
the opportunity.
They have something that's called
Brooke, go.
the Chinese bamboo tree. The Chinese bamboo tree takes 5 years to grow. They have to water and fertilize the ground where it is every day. And it doesn't break through the ground until the 5th year. But once it breaks through the ground, within 5 weeks, it grows 90 feet tall. Now the question is, does it grow 90 feet tall in 5 weeks or 5 years? The answer is obvious. It grows 90 feet tall in 5 years. Because at any time that person stopped watering and nurturing and fertilizing that dream, that bamboo tree would have died in the ground. And I can see people coming out talking to a guy out there watering and fertilizing the ground that's not showing anything. Hey, what you doing? You've been out here a long time, man. And the conversation in the neighborhood is, you growing a Chinese bamboo tree, is that right? Yeah, that's right. Well, even Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder can see ain't nothing showing. So how long you been working on this? How long have you been working on your dreams? And you have nothing to show. This is all you got to show. People gonna do that to you. And some people, ladies and gentlemen, they stop. Because they don't see instant results. It doesn't happen quickly. They stop. Oh, no. You got to keep on watering your dream. That is not going to happen as quickly as you want it to happen. A lot of things are going to happen that will catch you off guard. And so therefore you've got to deal with and handle it as it comes. And not only that, but that faith and patience drives you into action. You've got to keep moving and keep plugging away. See, during those hard times, we didn't know how you're going to make payroll. During those times when you failed and things didn't work out, they were nowhere to be found. But you know what I discovered? When you're working at your dream, somebody said the harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. Oh, it's sweet to you. It's good to you. Why? See, when it's hard and there's a struggle, see, what you become in the process is more important than the dream. That's far more important. The kind of person you become, the character that you build, the courage that you develop, the faith that you're manifesting. Oh, it's something that you get up in the morning, you look yourself in the mirror, you're a different kind of person. You walk with a different kind of spirit. And people know that you know what life is, that you have embraced life. You knew it was hard, but you did it hard.
Those of you who don't know Les Brown's story, as a kid, he was told he was mentally retarded. He could never accomplish anything. And they had a teacher that gave him hope. And that's where that quote comes from. It's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. And then one day at a radio show, after we went back and got a job getting coffee and doing all these other things, the DJ was drunk, fell asleep. They called him. He went on there, and the rest is history. But I see this all the time. We do dream boards. We set goals because we want people to understand there's something bigger in life than just working day to day. Jay Brown, I wish Jay was here. Jay and I, for years and years, taught people, listen, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to have patience to achieve your goals. If your dreams were big enough and important enough to start, they should be as important, they should be just as important to finish. But so often, because we don't see instant gratification, which is the society we live in today, right? We stop because we get frustrated. Heather's starting a class Thursday, yes, which is about setting goals, getting out of your comfort zone. Now we're going to have some of the people up here on the panel telling us that you need to actually stay in the box, not get out of the box. But one of the things we always say is, listen, why are we starting this class here in October and run into November? Because we know that what you do in October determines how much business you have in January, February, and March. It takes patience. You have to do little things that become habits consistently over time, create a process and a system, and ultimately at the end of the day, any dream you have can be reached. How psychotic is it to water something in the ground for 5 years that you cannot see grow? And then it grows 90 feet in this incredibly short period of time. So,
That's
you're lucky for you, Sunshine Kids is done. So, I'm going to read a quick thing. Fred sent this to me. I think we read this a couple years ago, right after Steve Jobs died. But I love this. This is the bad thing about being old. You got to put these darn cheaters on. So Steve Jobs died as a billionaire at age 56. This is his final essay.
It's my birthday.
Happy birthday. I've reached the pinnacle of success in the business world. In some others' eyes, my life is an epic of success. However, aside from work, I have little joy. In the end, my wealth is only a fact of life that I'm accustomed to. At this moment, lying in my bed and recalling my life, I realize that all the recognition and wealth that I took so much pride in have paled and become meaningless in the face of death. You can employ someone to drive a car for you, make money for you, but you cannot have someone bear your sickness for you. Material things lost can be found or replaced, but there's one thing that can never be found when it's lost: life. Whichever stage in life you're in right now, with time you will face a day when the curtain call comes down. Treasure love for your family, love for your spouse, love for your friends. Treat yourself well and cherish others. As we grow older and hopefully wiser, we realize that a $300 or a $30 watch both tell the same time. You will realize that what your true inner happiness does, you will realize that your true inner happiness does not come from the material things of this world. Whether you fly first class or economy, if the plane goes down, you go down with it. Therefore, I hope you realize when you have mates, buddies, and old friends, brothers and sisters, who you chat with, laugh with, talk with, have songs with, talk about north, east, west, south, or heaven and earth, that is true happiness. Don't educate your children to be rich. Educate them to be happy. So when they grow up, they will know the value of things, not the price. Eat your food as your medicine. Otherwise, you have to eat your medicine as your food. The one who loves will never leave you for another. Because even if there's 100 reasons to give up, he or she will find a reason to hold on. There's a big difference between a human being and being human. Only a few really understand it. You are loved when you are born. You will be loved when you die. In between, you have to manage. The 6 best doctors in the world are sunlight, rest, exercise, diet, self-confidence, and friends. Maintain them in all stages and enjoy a healthy life. We'll post this and share this with everybody. So I thought that was a good reminder, and it always goes to, I think, what we say around here, that your success in life will never be determined by the material things, by the titles, by the influence that you have. Ultimately, when you're done and you look back, your legacy and your success will be determined only by how many other people's lives you've touched. And I always say that if you've enriched the lives of others, meaning that their lives is better because you were part of it, and that a piece of them is now missing because something special is now gone, then you've been wildly successful in life. Warren Buffett had stated that, when he talked to a group of Ivy League grads a number of years ago. And when I heard that definition of success, I said, that's the most amazing definition of success I've ever heard. Because here we have one of the richest men in the world saying it's not about my money. It's not about material things. It's not about titles or influence. So philosophically, that's how we believe. We are going to have a panel today. We had about a dozen people go to Vancouver for the Top Agent Summit last week. Was that last week? Wow, it seems longer than that. And we're going to have, I think we lost a couple people because they had a sick kid and they had a flood in a basement. But we still have got some people left here. So Deb, can you come up, please? Trina, is Mark coming with you? Of course not. Shannon? Rachel. Cindy's still out of town. Roxanne was also there. Adam and Jeff was there for a short period of time. Jeff was there the whole time. He just attended the classes a short period of time. Didn't even attend the class. I think he was in the first half hour of the first one. He says, I'm bored. We had some great speakers. And the thing I love about Summit is it's only a group of maybe 400 people versus 4,000 people, and the relationships that you build with people are really incredible. So I do have Jenny Hamlin's notes that I'll share if these guys don't touch on it. But Deb, you've done this before. Why don't we let, Trina, you're newer to this. Why don't we let you go first? Give us a couple of your top takeaways. This is your first summit, right?
This is my first summit.
Yes. Why don't you give a couple of your top takeaways, and I'm going to let you hold that. And then guys, any questions that you have through this process, please ask. Talk.
Okay. Well, my biggest one was a gentleman, his name was Phil Hansen. He was an artist that his main mindset was he wanted to talk about seizing limitations. So he talked about, he had a handicap.
Can you guys hear her in the back?
Can you hear me okay? Is that better?
Better?
Is that better? Okay, sorry.
I told you you were new at this. It's okay.
Right? Sorry. So he had a handicap. He actually was an artist. He did like this pinpoint art where he developed a shake in his hand and later became rheumatoid arthritis, and he couldn't do it anymore. So he couldn't focus specifically on just pinpointing. So when he went to the doctor told him he had to embrace his limitation. Even though he hated hearing those words, he literally had to figure out how he was still going to continue to do art. He loved doing art. He tried for a couple of years to not do it, and he just couldn't do it. It's in his blood. So he got creative. But first, before he got creative, he actually went out and bought a bunch of materials, everything you could possibly think of to do art with, and then he sat down to do, something different than what he normally wants to do, and he wasn't creative at all. His creativity just went out the door with all these things in front of him. And so what he basically kind of reminded us of is that when you limit yourself or you bring yourself back to just a few products, or in his world, art, just a few small things, his mind became more creative. And actually, I was talking to Jen Hellman during that, while he was talking. I said, my gosh, that reminds me when I was a kid. I'm like, all the kids today, they have so much stuff to play with and do whatever. And, we as kids, we'd go outside until the lights came on. Your parents yelled at you, said you had to come back in the house. But, you played with a stick or something, just nothing. You had nothing to play with, but you got creative and you did all sorts of fun, amazing things, right? At least you thought you did in your mind. And so that just kind of brought me back when I thought about real estate. Like, we could keep looking at different ways to be different and bring in more materials to use, and who's got the best drone video out there, and what can we do to make it better, and all this stuff. And while all those things are great, like, things that I thought of is that what if we don't have those materials? What do we focus on? And honestly, what I thought was basically, and I'm just going to read what I wrote. I said we need to focus on the limited resources we've always had. So reaching out to past clients, those coffees that Vince always talks about, coffees, lunches, making it personal with past clients and people that and really forming relationships with people is the biggest thing that's going to get us through, even right now, the way the market is with this correction going on. Focusing on the people that we've already made relationships with, we can keep making more relationships, and getting those referrals is going to be big. So that's the key thing that stuck in my head.
And at the end of the day, he said, everyone keeps saying it, and we do this internally here, is think out of the box, think out of the box, think out of the box. He said, in my case, I had to simplify it, and I had to go back within the box because of the limitations I had with my hand shaking, and I had to figure out how could I use that as a way beautiful art. And so I had to go within the limiting capacity that I had to get inside of myself, because there's so many opportunities within ourselves that we never fully fulfill, and that we're always trying to reach for something else where we haven't even done the basic simple things in the beginning. And it was cool to see his art is just crazy cool, but it's just totally different than it was before.
Crazy cool. If you want to see it, it's on YouTube. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was incredible because, I mean, he made one piece with hamburger grease.
Yes. Well, and that was the one that got stuck to the wall, right?
Yes.
So in his apartment, he was trying to pull it off the wall, and he couldn't get it off the wall. Kind of created a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Kind of disgusting, really. but it was neat to look at. But he did also provide us with this little document. It's kind of recognizing what your limitations are. I actually printed off a few. If you want them, I left them up here up front if you want one. So,
Rachel.
Well, to piggyback on that, I think also just realizing that so many of the limitations that we have, we are self-imposed. So that for me was a big thing, is just, what are my fears, what are my limitations, and are those real concrete things, or those things that I put in my head? So that was a really good takeaway for me, and kind of made me reevaluate, what I need to work on. I had a rethink meeting, which a lot of people probably don't know what it is,
You want
but
to explain it?
yeah, so it's a national council of agents from across the United States that meet 4 times a year, I think. And so Vince wanted me to talk a little bit more about that, since that wasn't officially a part of the conference, but it was something that we did, and basically we focused on marketing and what are you doing that's you're seeing results with social media. So one of the things, and I've mentioned this before, but a lot of the agents were talking about how they've had really good success with this, is reaching out to their past clients and doing CMA reports. One of the agents is doing them quarterly. I think that would be a lot of work, but a lot of these agents are doing it at least once a year or twice a year. And it's something that your assistant could do if you have an assistant, and just basically sending it in the mail, and basically putting a call to action in there. So giving them a letter that just says, if you want more information about this, or you want me to go through it with you, give me a call. Or saying, I loved working with you. If you have family or friends that you think would be a good fit, let me know. A lot of them are putting personal notes in there, so maybe that your assistant gets it totally ready, but then you write, saw you just had another baby, or something personal, so they know that you actually looked at it. So that's something that we're going to be implementing.
I actually like the idea of following up with a phone call too, because it gives you something to talk about.
The one guy that was doing it quarterly was actually doing a phone call, and he was doing full-blown CMAs, not just a one-page report. So he was spending an obscene amount of time doing it.
Yeah. Another tool that I think a lot of us don't use is the Seller Advantage report. So some agents were using those with their current active clients, which just is basically a report that they get, and you can set weekly, monthly, whatever. It's in the resource center, and it keeps them current on what's going on in their market. So instead of you having to go out and pull that data weekly, they're just set up on an email. So if a new listing comes on the market, they get a notification, and that just keeps them in the loop. Obviously, you can CC yourself on that, so you'll know what they're getting as well. Some people are using it for current clients. Some people are using it for past clients. That's just like on a monthly drip, so they get kind of to know what's going on in their market. And a lot of people are seeing success with that, or having people reach back out to them. So we've started using it, and I've had people reach out to me, hey, thanks so much for keeping me in the loop of what's going on. Or they'll send me something back like, oh, that house looks just like ours. Let me know what it sells for. So just a good way to keep in touch with people without having to actually do anything. And that's a free tool that we have in our resource center.
Go ahead.
Another thing is the marketing videos that they've spent a lot of money putting together. And there's 4 different types, one for the luxury buyer, one for a first-time home buyer, people moving up, and I think people downsizing.
Yes.
And so we have access to those. You can share them on social media. They've been tracking the results online, and they've had great success with those. So that's another free resource that we can use that's just there and ready for you. They're super professional, so
I think
use
each
them.
one of the 4 videos, so go on Resource Center and you can get any of those. By the way, next Monday and Tuesday, Bob Watson, who's in charge of all training for Berkshire Hathaway, will be here doing a morning and an afternoon class. We're inviting a number of the CBS agents over, but any of you guys that would like to go through that again, I've told Heather and Tabitha, let's get back in this because I think we're underutilizing the Resource Center and all the tools that we have there that we're paying for. So please, let's get signed up. He's going to ask you to come with a computer and be logged in, but we can put up to 70 in a class, so we can fit almost 300 people for those 2 days in here. But each one of those videos on YouTube, and a YouTube video to show that it's been viewed has got to be viewed for a minimum of 30 seconds. They all 4 had over 4 million views. So I would highly encourage you, if you're going after first-time home buyers, if you're going after baby boomers downsizing, if you're going after luxury, any of those markets, utilize that and share that on your social media sites and flush that out to your people. Because Vander Media, who's the #1 social media company in the world, is who's putting these together with them. And what they did that I thought was cool that Chris said in our meeting is like the luxury one, they went in, they were tracking it, it wasn't doing what it wanted. So they went back 3 or 4 different times and continued to change that until it started yielding the results they wanted. So we've really gurus on here that are tracking the analytics that are helping drive traffic to these things. And if it's not driving traffic, they change it to a point where they get it where it does. Anything else on Rethink?
There's another thing called buy side, and I haven't had a chance to look at that, but it's essentially like a reverse prospecting, so I have it on my list.
So I think CBS, you guys, anyone here from CBS is using buy side? So I came back from an owners meeting not long ago, and I presented it to all of you guys, and we had probably 150 people in the room that day, and I think a whopping 3 of you raised your hand saying that you would use buy side. So I said, forget it. But we'll revisit that. But I've got friends, Mark Stark in Vegas swears by it. Some of the people in Pennsylvania, that's a huge brokerage, swears by it. I think, Deb, you and I maybe had a talk that we think our private Facebook page maybe does a little bit of the same thing. But if there's value in that, I want to revisit that type of thing because we've got lots of people saying that's an unbelievable listing tool. So if there's something there that we can capture, let's make sure that we are focused on that. Is that it?
That's pretty much it. We did talk about social media again. I mean, that's something that we are always talking about. And I think kind of the main thing that I got out of it was be consistent, do videos. One of the girls does Tuesday tips, and another one is now doing Friday facts. And so it's just like every single Tuesday, no matter where we are. We were in Vancouver on Tuesday, and we did a yacht cruise. She got everyone together and then basically just did like a 30-second video. Hey, I'm in Vancouver. Look at this awesome network I have behind me. If you have, we're connected throughout the United States and even globally. So if you are looking to move across the state, I can help you. So just that consistency of being in front of people and being real. I mean, I think she kind of messed up a little, but she didn't change it or try to redo it. She's like, this is who I am. And I think previously she had said people started, they're like, oh, I see you're now selling real estate. And she's like, I've been selling real estate for 7 years. But she just started doing those videos and they're noticing. So, use social media, it's free, but don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So.
And it's still the cheapest media out there. If you're going to boost ads or pay, and they're changing the dynamics and some of those things you can do. Utilize social media, spend money to boost whatever you're doing. It's much greater reach than anything else. Shannon, Dad, who wants to go next?
All right, is this on?
That's on.
Okay.
We're good in the back again?
Sure. All right, so back to the PDF that Trina was talking about. If you text PDF to 31996, it'll automatically send to you. So maybe Brooke can send that out on the notes. That way you can all get a copy of it. But again, that's just a PDF where you can look at your challenge and fill it out and see how that can work, for you rather than against you. So overall, what Summit is it's totally different than convention. So convention is in the spring, while Summit's always typically in September, October, in the fall. It's a smaller group of people, and you do have to qualify in order to be there. Do you know the exact
You have to be an
qualifications?
award winner. The gross commission income has got to be a minimum of $135,000.
Okay.
And gross commission income is company dollar, the royalty fee to Berkshire Hathaway, and the agent dollar combined. So it doesn't matter if you're 100% agent or conventional agent. It's the gross commission on the side of the transaction you're coming into. The truth of the matter is, almost everybody there is really probably present circling up, which is 185,000 plus, because they're typically not going to the cheapest places. But it's a great way where you're sitting around the top agent in the network for 3 or 4 days just brainstorming. To me, the best values is when I'm sitting there watching football with George and Mark and these guys, and all we're doing, quite honestly, the whole time is talking real estate, what are they using and stuff like that.
Right. So some of the big differences for people who haven't been to Summit is when you're at convention, you're going to several different offerings of things, and you can choose what you want, and there's just a ton of different workshops you can attend. While Summit, it's much more smaller, and it's more of a presentation style where they bring in 5 or 6 presenters over 2 days to talk to everyone rather than you having a choice of where you're going. And some of those things are inspirational and ways to better yourself as a person, and then some are more practical, like the videos and the PDFs and things to do as a real estate agent. So I thought, and this might be something Deb, I think Deb really liked this too, was Dr. Daniel Amen. He consulted on the film that Will Smith was in with the brain studies and how football concussion, yes, how it affected the NFL players. And he actually did a lot of the brain scans on people. And I actually came back home and I have a friend that was in the NFL, and he said that this was the doctor that actually did his brain scans over the past decade to try to study him and what the effects were. So he went through a lot of really cool pieces of information that was good to know. It was all about memory rescue, and his book that he wrote is Change Your Brain, Change Your Life. So kind of like your liver can regenerate, he's saying your brain can as well. And so he showed pictures of brain scans at the beginning when he first met with some people, and then once they started taking vitamins and changing their lifestyle and doing things different, they'd come back 6 months later and how their brain changed and how some of the holes filled in and got healthier and regenerated. So he went through a lot of different ways, and I just thought he was really amazing with what he said. And some of it's common sense, but he said blood flow is obviously the biggest, blood flow and inflammation. So bad things are coffee, which I was not happy about.
Don Lacey, did you hear that?
Also smoking and being sedentary and eating fried foods and lots of sugar. So of course we all kind of know about that. But the good things are cayenne pepper, beets, ginkgo biloba, exercise, lots of multivitamins, vitamin C. Take at least 5,000 units of vitamin D, green tea, blueberries. Those are all good things. Drink tons of water. He also said sweat, sweating a lot by exercise or saunas. He said saunas are really good to get your blood flowing and getting that blood to the brain. And he looked at a lot of different factors. It could be genetics and how you can counter your own genetics. And you can't really change that, but with the vitamins that really helps. But staying away from smoking, alcohol, and just trying to, increase that blood flow, get rid of toxins, and eat more organic, because those toxins will also limit you. And sleeping was really big, and that was something good with me, because I've taken sleeping pills before, but that can lead to dementia. So he's like to, work with sleeping, try magnesium and melatonin, turn off the lights, use blue light blockers to try to get to sleep better. And then obviously there's like good kinds of fats, with avocados and things like that you should incorporate into your diet. So overall, I just thought he was really good. He does these brain scans in Chicago, and then also I think in Newport Beach area or Laguna. So I just think it'd be a really cool thing to do. It's pretty pricey though, of course, but I think if you just follow these things that he, says, then you can, get those same benefits without maybe having the actual scans. And I think you'll probably hit on maybe some more things.
We will give you a list of the things. He said take the omega-3. He says do not go on a fat-free diet. Going on a fat-free diet is bad for the brain. Brooke, here's a picture of a normal brain, and here's a picture of Jay Lacey's brain. I don't know how he got that picture, but James now looks more like the normal ones. But if you go back to the blood flow is the most important thing. And he said the most important brain to have that's big in the human body, the most important muscle is the brain. That you should not have penis envy, you should have brain envy. That someone has a big brain, that's what you should be envy of. That's what I'm just telling you. And he says if blood flow's going to the brain, you don't have to worry about it going to other places. I can't make this stuff up, guys. Then you call, because I'm going to get a brain scan. I don't know if Shannon is or not. I think she's concerned. But I'm going to try to piggyback it with the meeting that I'll have in California over the next couple months. But can you talk about that? You called to get the cost and the process and what goes on with that.
The cost is, I don't think this is on. It's on. Push the button. The cost was $3,900, and that's a 3-day deal. They do your brain once at rest and once when you're thinking, if that's possible. And then you have a 2-hour meeting with a psychiatrist afterwards to go over your scan. And that's a couple days later.
So if you want to feel good about yourself, I would not recommend probably doing this.
No, it's kind of scary, but I do think it's something, the important thing is you can fix that.
Yes.
So I think that's good. Okay.
Go ahead.
This was a different summit for me because most of you know when I go to conventions or summit, I go shopping and hang out with my friends, and I go to the meetings, but I don't know, my brain must be dead during those periods because I've never come back with this many just like little things that they said that I thought were so important. Probably the thing that hit me the most, they said, your brand is what people, we're all so concerned about our brand, but they said, you have to remember, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. And I thought, wow, we spend all this money trying to create an image about who we are, but it's really what people say about you when you're not there. So I thought that was really cool. They said, be an audacious dreamer. Don't worry if your dreams are crazy. Worry if your dreams are crazy enough. So they said, really get there. Really think outside the box, and then the last one was saying, no, get back in the box. So it's a little confusing. This I thought was really cool. Find the healthiest person you know and hang with them. So I won't have any friends. But Mark, you and I can hang together. We're both trying to get healthier. But this morning I grabbed a drink when I was leaving my house, and I grabbed the energy drink. So if I'm shaking here a little bit, it's not because I'm afraid, it's because of the energy drink. But a couple of the things that they said that I thought were unique, they said all the things that we know about drinking more water and be sure you do 10,000 steps. But they said, Mark, you're going to be in good shape here because they said, don't use lipstick. Because that lipstick has heavy metals in it that they've done all kinds kinds of studies, of course, I listened a lot to that. But they did say watch the kind of lipsticks that you use. So I'm going to look into that a little bit and see if I can find something less metally. And then they said, do not use baby powder at all. It has something in it that is not good for your brain. Another person said, your ego is not your amigo. That's a good thing. Be simultaneously creative and logical. That seems kind of hard to do, but they said to be successful, you've got to be both of those things at the same time. It said, be prolific and remember, and I thought this was cool, winners will always be the bigger losers. They will lose more than any loser. So you've got to be doing stuff a lot. You've got to be willing to take those chances. But just remember, winners are bigger losers. And then they said, there is no such thing as failure, just unexpected outcomes. So every time you fail, it's just something you weren't expecting, but you can learn from that. I thought that was kind of cool. And then this was, again, one of my favorites. When the fire goes out, the predators come in. So remember, if you don't have that fire in your belly, that's when you need to be concerned. But I just thought it was a super, super conference. The kind of things that Berkshire has, it sounds like I'm doing a show for you. But the kind of things that we have, like the builder-developer thing, I know a lot of you guys weren't thrilled about that because it seemed kind of narrowly focused, but the kind of people that we have that can come in and work with us on development, with developers, work with builders, all of that is stuff that we have with Berkshire Hathaway. We can either go to Irvine and see these people, or Vince can bring them in, but they had phenomenal things that we get for free because we're part of this. So don't miss, if you qualify, do not miss these opportunities.
Summit next year.
It's fabulous. Summit next year.
It's going to be Key Biscayne, which is a little island right off of Miami, at the Ritz-Carlton, and they do get prices about half the price of what it normally costs to go stay at the Ritz. So I think that'll probably be a pretty cool one. Jenny Hamlin, who has water in the basement, I think, so she's doing something right now. I sent some notes, and when she talked about the painter, I'm just going to read real quick some of her notes, and then she did talk about the developer also. Resources or lack thereof can stir creativity. I think that's why newer agents are so eager. They are willing to try anything and don't yet have enough no's under their belts as to why to do or not to do something. I love the artist's example of how he spent a bunch of money on premium art supplies, which was indicated here, a bunch of money on premium art supplies, and it actually discouraged him from creating art. So he started looking for new canvases and a new type of brush and created something unexpected and beautiful. A great reminder that all leads and all money on advertising won't give you the edge. You have to think around the standards. Her quote on this at the end of the day is, you need to be limited to become limitless. You need to be limited to become limitless. So that was thinking in the box. Then talking about the builder thing that Deb just referenced is use data. I used to be better at this, but it's a good reminder to be fully prepared for a listing presentation with data that is translated into what the audience needs to see. This was from a panel about builder relationships with developers, but it can be used for everyone that we meet. I think it also shows that you are the person who really knows and helps build a better foundation of trust. I like that later in the conference, there were some discussions around how trust in society is so low and people are craving it. Last thing she said, which I think has been referenced here, is this is a great way to get together because we'll have our group get together for a small dinner or cocktails or something where there's only a dozen of us there sitting to get together to know each other, to know agents better in the office. She said, quote, Cindy Forehead is still up in Vancouver, cousin. I now know that I want to be Cindy Forehead when I grow up. Couple quick things that I took off of, and it's Jeff Diesel that gave that thing, your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room, which is a really great quote that I think we all need to remember. But the guy was really talking about disruption and being disruptors in the marketplace and how this industry has changed at a pace that we've never seen before. And I'll tell you, the last 3 big conferences I've been at, That's been a major theme of disruptions. How are we embracing change? How are we counting the disruptions to the marketplace to make sure that we're showing value at the end of the day? And he said the number one fear will be figuring out how to do something you've never done before and do it well. So we need to focus on that. One of the quotes was, make it easy. You need to make it easy to be with you. You need to express gratitude, you need to sustain your fascination, and you need to have a condition, you need to condition your resilience. Then part of that disruption that they talk about, one of the things that we talk about all the time, is that you have to collaborate. And his quote was, you need to collaborate like a champion. You need to make collaborating with you a great idea. And that's what we talk about all the time, whether it's just getting together with other top agents or whether it's in our mastermind groups. Collaboration, this guy says, if you're going to live in a world of disruption and you're not idea sharing and you're not collaborating, that ultimately at the end of the day, you're going to get left behind. And the last thing he said is be unconditionally enthusiastic. And I think in our business, we really understand that. So, guys, any questions for our panelists here? Anyone? Let's give them a big hand. Okay, a couple things real quick. I don't think we've had a sales meeting since we were fortunate enough to be recognized by Entrepreneur Magazine as the #2 company in the United States for top company culture. Last March, they recognized us as the #12 company. Last March, we were the only company in the top 30 that's a real estate company in the United States. This year, for the big company category, which this year was 300 plus people. Last year, it was 100 plus people. We were #2 in the country. There was only 25 listed on that list for the top 25. We were the only real estate company listed on that list. We were the only company in the state of Nebraska listed on that list. And that was after them taking over 300 surveys from you guys as agents and responding to that. So give yourself a huge hand because it is us together. So a couple things. There's a number of CBS agents in the audience here, maybe as many as Berkshire Hathaway agents right now. We are having an agent tour for a lot of them, and we love a lot of the Berkshire Hathaway agents here. I need a handful of people to be doing tours of the building with me this evening. It's going to be 4:30 to 7. Is that correct? 4:30 to 7. We're going to have some pizzas, beer, water, pop to get together. But I'd love a lot of us that are here already in the organization just to get here, to mingle with them, to chat with them. I'd love some of you to help me do some building tours. I know some of you have done that before when we've done Explosion and other things. But just to welcome them into our family as we continue to move through this. There's going to be a lot of moving pieces over the next 3 months, and we want them to become comfortable with our building and our style and who we are as an organization. So I appreciate you guys showing up tonight, stopping by, have a drink, mingle with some of the CBS agents. The other thing that I mentioned earlier is that Berkshire Hathaway will be bringing 2 people in, including Bob Watson's in charge of all training, next Monday and Tuesday for 3 to 3.5 hour classes, Monday morning, Monday afternoon, Tuesday morning, Tuesday afternoon. We can fit 75 people in this room. You need to be bringing computer. You need to bring your computer. Those of you at CBS, if you want to come, track. Is Maggie down? Is Maggie here anywhere?
So we're going to send an invite. So it's the same exact class taught 4 different times. So Maggie, we got with her yesterday, so she'll send out an invite so you can sign up for one of the 4 classes. But Bob Watson is good stuff. And bring your computer, your laptop. We'll get all your stuff into MLS. Make sure you have a resource login and all that stuff. So when you sit down for classes, 3 hours of.
Right. But it's critical that you get logged in to Resource Center with Maggie in advance. Berkshire Hathaway people come. If you want to come, we're going to have sign-up sheets on this.
Yes.
But we can fit 300 people through the next couple of days, or through those couple of days. And if we need to fit more people in because we see too many people sign up, we can figure out a way to get more tables and chairs in here and fit more people than that. Last thing real quick, 2 last things. So not the last thing. Heather's class this Thursday. CBS agents are invited. It is all about prospecting, business growth, revenue generating. There will be 1 or 2 speakers, everything that are top producers talking about what they're doing to take their business to the next level. But it's all going to be about making you uncomfortable, to make sure that you're prospecting, and that as we end the year, that you're continuing to do those activities that you need to be doing to make sure that next year starts off right. Heather did not want to do this last year. She actually wanted to wreck her car so she didn't have to come. But she's becoming more comfortable because we forced her to get out of her comfort zone to do this. So Please, 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 even those of you who have taken it before, I would encourage you to come. There's going to be constant reminders in there of things that you need to do, little, consistent things, processes and systems to help you be more productive. And that is for 2 hours from 9 to 11. Every Thursday, starting this Thursday, going up to the Thursday before Thanksgiving.
November 15th.
And
November
it's a
15th, okay.
6-week commitment. So
6-week
you have
commitment.
to come every week.
Yes.
If you guys want to join the class, email me.
Yes. Talk about trunk or treat.
Yes, trunk or treat. This is the favorite, you guys. So it's Halloween.
Brooke loves this.
Halloween trick or treating in the garage. Last year we had like a couple hundred people. We have chili dogs, drinks, fun. I don't know, and we close off the underground parking. And so if you want to be a candy stop, you guys are really the creative people out here. Like decorate your trunks, dress it up, whatever. Email me so there still are available candy stops left, but. Bring your kids, your families. It's a good time.
Last year, the firefighters.
Yeah, last year. Sorry.
Yeah, we're not going to have Riley Group. Is any Riley Group still here? No fog machines in your office.
So
We were here till midnight. They were telling us we have to stay all night. The fire department's here because we had firearms went off.
So ATS, if you guys haven't noticed their new awesome space, but they're gonna have a haunted house throughout their whole Ambassador title. So we go downstairs and you can take the kids up through a haunted house.
Perfect. Last thing is we've delayed a little bit. November 1st, we're going to have an open house extravaganza. That's a Thursday night. I want 300-400 open houses that evening. So I've been talking to all the mastermind groups about it. Everybody, we're going to get some marketing pieces out of that, but we're going to promote that. We're leaning towards 5:30 to 7:30 because we know that some people are going to have to get their kids back. We want to play on that even, and we'll finalize that over the next week to maybe say bring the kids and we'll have candy to give away. But how impactful on a Thursday evening, an off day, if we can have 300 or 400 of our listings out there to have open houses. I will tell you, one of the things that I think has not happened enough over the last couple of years is us doing open houses. It's still a very valuable tool for us to generate and pick up business. And when I travel around the country, Deb was talking about this, that at Explosion in her luxury panel, the lady in Laguna Beach with 8, 10, 12, $15 million houses, the number one source she has of getting houses sold is doing open houses. So if someone's doing that with 10 and $15 million houses, there's no reason we can't do that. And it's a great source. And the people that I know that do it religiously, that's where the vast majority of their business comes. So if you want to do open houses and you're struggling with that, get with us and we'll get you with somebody that can help you fine-tune your skills on doing that. But November 1st, we're going to continue to push information out on that, but let's get hundreds of open houses. Yesterday in the mastermind group, Mike Evans, is Mike here? Mike was talking about when we kick that thing off, we all need to go on Facebook Live at the same time and do a Facebook Live video. Can you imagine the power that will have on the Facebook page if we get a couple hundred of you getting onto a Facebook Live saying, hey, I'm at my open house. Our company's having an open house extravaganza. We've got 325 open house listings. My house is located at blah, blah, blah. If we have a couple hundred of you do that on Facebook Live, it will blow up the social media network at that moment. So we want to get out of our comfort zone. We want to do these things. So please, 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 let's get Maggie, Brooke, Carrie, let's get some sign-up sheets on that. Let's get the ball rolling on that. So guys, yes?
Good guy word.
Good guy word. Doug. Then Ellie, I'll get you. Ellie, what's your question real quick while we're waiting for Doug?
My question real quick is, I'm wondering who else is going to the NAR convention in Boston at the end of the month? Doug and I is the only ones that I know of right now.
Denise, anyone else going to NAR in Boston? You got 4 in the room.
Wow.
So the rest of you are going to be here selling houses, right? Listing houses.
Boston.
We're used to it.
Boston.
Doug.
Does this work?
Hello? Yes.
So I think it's to little Richie Edwards. I don't know if he's here. He's the one that gave me the award a couple months ago. But today I wanted to give out the Good Guy Award to somebody who is very active, has helped us out a ton. As you guys know, a passion of mine, and most of you know Mr. Swanson, is Art Pack. And she's also going to be next year's Women's Council President. Denise Poppin is who I want to give that to. They got a
you did. No, can't say no WCR anymore. Women's Council, everybody. Thank you.
Last thing, and it's really the last thing. So we had filmed all of the explosion events where we had 170 people from around the country, from 28 states here, late August. Those have all now been edited, downloaded, and we have all of those, and Brooke's going to be pushing those all out on email, so you'll be able to see. What we did not have is we had all of the main panels that were in this room, and we had the breakout sessions that were in this room and Jeff's room. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think there was a couple breakouts in here.
So we didn't have the round tables recorded, and we didn't have the third breakout session, but we probably have 75% of the content captured on that. So we'll be sending those out from the open comments to the panels. Alan Dalton's was spectacular, spectacular. If you don't listen to anything, listen, but one of them, listen to what Alan Dalton talked about and how he talked about how we communicate with people differently. So guys, we're going to continue to get this information, to push it out to you guys to utilize. Are you going to speak?
One other real quick thing.
You guys will learn that this is what happens all the time. I have no control of these meetings.
That a lot of you heard on the news about the people in the Yale apartment project where they made everybody leave literally with the clothes on their back. So those people have absolutely nothing. They've been in a community center for 2 weeks. They all have to be out of that community center by this weekend. Our church had a group of people that were going to help provide for these people. We'll have a list downstairs. I mean, these people needed things like toothpaste, underwear, I mean, absolutely everything you can imagine. They have nothing. And these are refugees from other countries that don't speak the language. So we'll have a list in our office. If any of you can help with any of that stuff, we'll collect it in our office. I don't know where, maybe in my office, I guess. We'll collect it there, and then we'll give it to them all on Sunday. But it's frightening what they don't have.
Is Adam Riley still here? I saw him earlier. Adam, can you come up real quick and talk about your charity event?
You know what happened last time?
So if Adam starts crying, guys, we'll get this out. There's about a 50-50 chance of that happening.
Turn it up right now.
So, I'm going to try to keep it together. I'm Adam Riley. We do a lot of work for Together Omaha, and it's emotional, but we raised $62,000. So, I feel really good about that. We put on an event down at the Diamond Room. My whole team came together. This was like truly a group effort. It was just a fun party, so it was very casual, but Together Omaha does a lot of stuff for, what they're trying to do is help people right before, they try to catch them right before they become homeless. So they're giving them the tools to go out there and succeed. So, amazing organization, making a huge impact, but gosh, I'm just so overwhelmed with the success we had with it. So, that's it. I'm not going to talk anymore.
All right. Thank you.
Real quick, just want to mention we have a lot of people that
Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Carrie Miller.
And it's your birthday today.
And it's my birthday! We have a lot of people that need ethics, and I just want to mention that. We have the class on the 24th.
Tonight?
There's one tonight.
Tonight, the 24th, and we'll have 3 to 4 in November.
24th and then 3 or 4 in November. So we'll have those here on site. So just let me know if you need a link to go sign up for one of the classes.
Thanks for communicating that so properly.
Yeah, get your ethics.
Any of you that need ethics, please get into one of those classes. Guys, if you see a strange face around you, welcome the CBS agents into our family. Let's continue to grow. Guys, I truly believe when you talked about Les Brown's quote, it's better to be prepared without an opportunity than have an opportunity to not be prepared. I believe we're prepared for this opportunity. The CBS BHH thing was not a thing that I know the CBS agents were really looking at up front. It wasn't a thing that, quite honestly, I was expecting up front, but I do see it as an opportunity. I see it as an opportunity for us to grow bigger, to have more yard signs, which are more billboards, which is more exposure, which should make it easier for every one of us in this room to get more listings. We've talked about it in some of our mastermind groups here lately, and my theory on this is I really believe that Adam said it in one of our mastermind groups not long ago. When I'm competing over $600,000-$700,000, I'm almost always competing against 2 or 3 other Berkshire Hathaway agents already. We're going to have 65-70% of the upper end market. We're going to have over 40% of the total market. And here's going to be the deal. We've had some people leave our company, go to some smaller companies that don't have name recognition. They didn't get the listings because clients told them, you don't have a Berkshire Hathaway sign in your yard, and I have to have that. They're going to know you've got the right brand and the right company. So the burden that falls on every single one of you is to nurture these relationships unlike any time before. It's the way to beat off the disruptors that say they're in the technology business, right? These virtual offices, these discount brokers. If you get out there and you become that resource for all real estate, for your center of influence, for your database, if you're reaching out to them on a regular basis, doing your client appreciation parties, getting face-to-face, doing the coffees and lunches, and getting them CMAs and that source to be knowledgeable on what's going on in this marketplace, and you do a great job of nurturing those relationships, you're not even going to compete because they're going to say, I've got the person that I trust for real estate with the name of the brand and the sign of the art that I need, and that's going to be your deal. So you guys have got to get out there, and it starts right now. Next year is here, right? All of our mastermind groups right now, the next meeting we have is all going to be goal setting. 18's pretty much done. We're really focused on how do we start off 19 to make sure that 19's a great year. The other thing the reason that building relationships is more important right now than ever is, guys, I firmly believe we are in the early stages of a correction. And over the next 1.5 to 2 years, I think we're going to have a correction. We've had a great 8-year run here. Interest rates just went up again the other day. They're going to creep over 5%. You talk anywhere around the country, the national coaches, Mike Ferry, these other guys, they believe we're in a correction. That makes it more important for you guys to see this as an opportunity. Here's what we know. Discount brokers, for sell-by owners, part-time agents all dissipate. We lose those type of people in these type of markets. There's a flock to quality. So being that full-time agent that they trust, that you've nurtured and built a great relationship with, is going to make it easier to get higher commissions than it has been in these markets where everything's flying off the hook and they're going for sell-by owner. They don't think they need us, and they'll list with anybody that's cheapest. So I want you to see this as an opportunity because there's always going to be real estate bought and sold in this market and in every market. So use this as an opportunity to grow your business and capture a larger portion of the total market. Guys, let's have a great day. Thank you. See you all tonight, 4:30 to 7.